a partnership, almost like it just made sense. It was like the same thing. So everything, like they have faith-based matchmaking. They try to match most similarly to where somebody is at. Families are involved. We also like to have families a little bit more involved, and sometimes too involved. But I see so many overlaps.
Did you know Jewish matchmaking was inspired by Indian matchmaking? And yes, we have a Jewish Sima Taparia in Israel. Namaskar, Shalom, and welcome. My name is Ravital Moses, aka Moses in Israel, your favorite Indian Jew born and raised in India and now living in Israel. And my goal is to bridge India and Israel one video at a time. And today we're going to find out similarities between Indian and Jewish matchmaking.
When I watched Indian Matchmaking, I was like, this is like Jewish matchmaking, just not Jewish people. It's like literally the same thing. So I felt very like a kinship, a partnership, almost like it just made sense. It was like the same thing. So everything, like they have faith-based matchmaking. They try to match most similarly to where somebody is at. Families are involved. We also like to have families a little bit more involved, and sometimes too involved. But I see so many overlaps.
All right. हमें समझ आया कि at the end of the day, even if we are far apart on the map, India and Israel, there are a lot of similarities in terms of culture, especially when it comes to finding a partner. Context, because I always give context in my videos. You see me in this video, you're right, I interviewed Aleeza Ben Shalom. Like I mentioned, we have a Jewish Sima Taparia, that is Aleeza Ben Shalom. Jewish matchmaking was inspired by Indian matchmaking. Season 1 is already out. Go check it out. It's fun, hilarious, and you also get to understand the Jewish culture a little bit. And the funny part is, I keep telling Aleeza and friends of Aleeza, if there is a season 2, they should definitely cast me, because I would be a great person to have on the show, and I also want to find a partner. When it comes to Israel, usually people talk about defense, IDF, research. What people don't talk about are the topics that are not very popular are family, matchmaking, and stuff like that. Today I'm going to talk about finding a partner in Israel. There are different ways of finding a partner. Of course, matchmaking is one of them. Whenever we talk in India, हम ऐसे बोलते हैं ना, love marriage नहीं तो arranged marriage, ठीक है? The concept of like love marriage is a big deal, especially when you're doing an interfaith or like if you're from different religions and if you find love when you are marrying, it's like a big deal, because usually when we grew up, a lot of the families were against getting married outside of your religion, right? Especially for women, they were expected to follow their husband's religion. Now, of course, the times have changed. These days, you see husbands adopting the wife's faith and religion. I think it's super romantic. It's not, we don't put love marriage on a pedestal. So here in Israel, it's like you have marriage and then you have matchmaking. Love marriage ऐसा नहीं है. मतलब तुम मिले, प्यार हो गया, देखा चल रहा है कि नहीं, and you get married. This is basically what happens here. But there are different ways people find partners. Let's talk about matchmaking for a second. Matchmaking in this country is often seen as, there's a lot of stigma around it. They think matchmaking when you hire a matchmaker, you're religious. India में नहीं है, मतलब हाँ, there is like a Seema auntie who's doing the research and doing matchmaking. वो ऐसा religious aspect नहीं है. यहाँ पे they check religiosity. The more orthodox you are, a lot of people who don't believe in finding love based on an application or any other organic ways, or have failed many times and वो नहीं चल रहा है, then they will probably go for matchmaking. Okay, matchmaking, we'll come back to matchmaking, but let's talk about finding a partner in Israel, because I want to give you an insight in the Israeli culture. I want to tell you that Israel is not just defense and IDF and war. There are families here. And how are families made? Because people fall in love and that's how they make babies. Number 1, army. A great way to find your future partner, husband, wife, partner, whoever you're interested in, is IDF. It is as crazy as it might sound, because you spend 2 to 3 years in a unit, you do tend to you do tend to meet a lot more people and get introduced, or you could like, fall in love like inter-unit. But whatever it is, you have a lot more options, and that's where a lot of my Israeli friends, they have found their partners in the IDF. A lot of the immigrants who make Aliyah, who come to Israel. Now, I made Aliyah, but I did not have a chance to go to the IDF. Immigrants who come in the range of who are able to do the army, they have also found partners in the army. Number two is university. I believe this is also very common in India. When you go for a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, you do get exposed to a lot more people, and then you can eventually fall in love with somebody and get married to them. Also, very common in Israel. Number three, if you're an immigrant like me from the Olim community, because you're trying to like build a community here, you start from scratch, especially for somebody like me who didn't really have like a base here. Yes, I have family, friends, but it's not the same. So you do tend to become friends with other Olim or immigrants, and then that's where you can become friendly and find like a romantic partner, and then, you can get married. Number four, I had no idea that you could meet your future husband at a Shabbat dinner or at the synagogue. I mean, yes, yes, yes. You know what? I actually knew it. I just didn't focus on it. My parents actually saw each other for the first time in a synagogue in India, and that's how my father pursued my mother. They were together for 8 years before they got married, by the way. People do tend to go to Shabbat dinners and synagogues so that they can find their potential partner, and of course, to pray. That is ultimate goal of going to the synagogue, is to pray, but you never know. You might be able to find someone. Workplace, especially if you're working in the tech ecosystem, high tech may, so many options. And if you're working for a big company, I'm not gonna name companies, but there are big companies here. There are different departments, and you have big teams. Last but not the least, the most popular but the most looked down upon is apps. The most popular app for me is Hinge. I feel like the quality of men has been decent on Hinge. Okay, Cupid is just not working for me, and Bumble is just, I don't even know why it exists. It's just not for me. I would personally like to find somebody organically. I believe there's always a connect, and you can feel the connection when you're meeting somebody organically. Me and my friends, especially the single ladies, we try our best to go out and put ourselves out. It's hard when you're 30 plus. I'm just 30, by the way. It's hard as you grow older, because I think it's easier to find love while you're growing up in your early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s. I think it's simpler to find love. I think the time you hit 30s, again, I could be wrong, this is my experience, I feel like this is like a switch, and then you tend to focus more on yourself. And I think you should, at some point in life, you should focus on yourself. But then just putting yourself out there constantly to find somebody is a task. But let's hope that my person is out there. Go down in the comment section, put your blessings for me, because I want to find partner I love so much, and I do want to find somebody for myself. That's it for this video. I know this was a very unconventional one. I usually talk about India-Israel relationship, but you need to understand, when it comes to two countries, it is just not about diplomatic relations, but it is also about culture. You will be surprised. We have a lot more in common than you can imagine. And I am going to give you more content related to India-Israel culture. So stay tuned. In the meantime, stay safe, consume the right content, and I'll see you next time.